Fearlessly authentic and socially dense. This video is about a certain look that I get from other people. It's a look I've seen on the faces of people many times, certainly hundreds of times, perhaps even thousands of times. It's a look that might include a small amount of condescending pity, a larger amount of bewilderment, puzzlement, befuddlement, and a very large amount of utter disgust. When I get that look from somebody, sometimes it feels like it is the precise moment when they stop thinking of me as someone who might be potentially intelligent and start thinking of me as something else. A word that starts with the letter R. One instance I'll share with you is from my high school experience. I was a sophomore, and someone who had been a friend of mine during our freshman year, we were in chess club together, we might have seen movies together, played video games together, that kind of thing. By sophomore year, he was feeling the pressure of social dynamics, and he was making adjustments to try to fit in better. He was combing his hair differently, he was dressing differently, and he was agitated one day at the fact that I listened to old music. So this was about 1978, and I was listening to Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, Beach Boys, Jan and Dean, Ventures, Byrds, Beatles, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, stuff from the 50s and 60s. And in an exasperated tone of voice, he asked me, "What do you listen to that is popular now?" I answered his question, and my answer did not curry his favor. I wasn't just fearlessly authentic. It might be more accurate to say that sometimes I was cluelessly authentic. I generally didn't understand the full degree to which I was out of step with most of my peers. When he asked me that question, I just gave him an honest answer. It didn't occur to me to do anything else. If I had been a little phony, if I had said AC/DC, he would have been fine with that. If I said Journey, he would have been fine with that. I could have even said something strategic if I had thought about it. I could have said something that was true that would have been acceptable to him. I could have said Eagles. I could have said Fleetwood Mac. But there was a particular musical artist whose albums I had recently acquired, and I had been listening to them. So when he asked me, "What music do you listen to that is popular now?" I said, "Barry Manilow." Not the answer he was looking for. And I got that look. Another instance I'll mention was a few years later in the lobby of a college dorm. A few art students were discussing their favorite painters like Da Vinci and Picasso and others. I wasn't part of the conversation, but I was in the room. One of them turned to me and said, "Cliff, who is your favorite artist?" And again, it didn't even occur to me to say anything phony. If I had said, "I'm not sure why, but I think Pollock is fascinating," they would have been okay with that. But it didn't occur to me to say anything phony. It didn't even occur to me to say anything strategic. I just answered the question. Norman Rockwell. And they all gave me that look. They looked at me like they might look at someone who had just farted in church. It's not a good look. Not a favorable look. That's when I found out that they didn't consider Norman Rockwell to even be art. um, and if they would admit that it was art in any sense, they would have insisted that it was only art for stupid people. So in that moment, I could feel myself being translated from them thinking that I might possibly be intelligent to thinking that I was something else. A word that might start with the letter R. A word that I've heard a lot over the decades. A third instance that I'll mention, many years after that, I was working in a hospital, stationed at a nurse's station, and I was making up pages of information for each of the employees, and I would put that employee's name on the top of their page. They would come by and pick the sheet up. And I had a sheet for myself also. I put my name at the top of my sheet. And after my name, I doodled a little smiley face kind of thing. One of the nurses came up, looked for her sheet, found her name, grabbed her sheet of information, and then she noticed my sheet of information. And she saw my name at the top and the little smiley face doodle after my name. She looked at that doodle, she looked at me, and I said, I think it looks kind of cool. And I got the look. Not only did I get the look, she also said something. She said, it is cool. If you're a 9-year-old girl. And a fourth instance that I'll mention, same workplace, same workstation, different coworker. One of my coworkers used a word in a sentence that just struck me as funny. Usually when I'm in these circumstances where I get that look, it's because I've done something honest, something genuine, or something childlike that is out of step. And I'll mention this one because this one was somewhat childlike. My coworker said something like, this week I've worked a buttload of overtime. I turned away, I chuckled a little bit, and she looked at me and she said, what? And I said, you said buttload. And she gave me the look. And she said, you really are that simple. I'm not sure why, but those are the 4 examples that stick in my mind the most. They enter my mind from time to time, and I think about those experiences. And so I thought I'd put those few into a video, but there are certainly hundreds to choose from. Instances when I've gotten the look. Until next time, live well and discern.